And then over here, some other commands that you might need to know about. If you were to go into interface mode, so here you see I'm in global config mode, and then I put in interface serial 000. That puts me into interface mode, and then I can put a summary, I can manually put a summary address on my interface and attach it to the EIGRP process, even from interface configuration mode. So this is the command that would do that. IP summary-address EIGRP1, the EIGRP routing protocol and the process ID, and then the summary address that you want to use and the summary subnet mask that you're going to use. Okay, so that's a manual summary address configuration. And then another thing that Dual needs, that the EIGRP algorithm needs to run correctly, is you need to configure bandwidth on your different interfaces. So here you see I've also gone into interface serial 000, and then you put in bandwidth 64, and that's going to be 64K, 64 kilobits bandwidth setting, so that Dual can calculate the metrics to the destination networks correctly. Okay, the administrative distance for EIGRP is, for an internal route, is a 90, an external route is a 170, and then a summary route, if you have an EIGRP summary route, that gets a 5 and as an administrative distance. Okay, so here I've got some basic EIGRP configuration commands. You can see here I got a screen grab from a config, and I've got it up here. I've got my EIGRP command, my network commands, no auto summary. I've also got the bandwidth and another bandwidth command here. Okay, and then we can examine the routing table. If you look at the routing table here, you can see that if you see a D on the left-hand side, that means EIGRP. C stands for connected route. So you see here that we've got some connected routes, and then we've also got some routes with Ds that we've learned about from EIGRP. And you can see here the parent routes are here, and the child routes are indented. So we look at this one, we see here that this parent route says it's variably subnetted, 2 subnets, 2 masks, and then we've got 2 child routes. The first one here is a summary route to the null 0 interface, and this is important. This can cause some problems. The summary route to the null interface will mean, in this case, that after looking through the routing table for a route to a child network, if it doesn't find a child network, it won't continue on and look for a default route or a static route. So it's important that we turn off auto summarization to bypass this situation. And let's see here, we've got some other another summary route to a null 0 network. You can see here I've put an explanation here down to that, and then some child routes here. You can see here that this in brackets here, this 90 is the administrative distance for EIGRP, and then this number 2,172,416, that is the calculated metric by Dual to the destination network, the lower number being better. So anyway, that's something that shows you a little bit of the routing table. If you were to put in a default static route and then put a redistribute static command, which would distribute that route, it would look something like this. You hear D for EIGRP, and then an asterisk for a default route, and then EX, it's labeled as an external route, so, and it's to the 000 network, and you can see here it gets an administrative distance of 170, and then here's the metric over here via the next hop router's interface and out of serial 0. All right. Another important command that you want to know how to do for the test is the show command, show IP EIGRP topology. This is important, and it'll probably be on the test because it lets you know, when you put in this command, it lets you know all of your EIGRP successor and feasible successor routes, and you can see here if it's a P, that means this is a successor route. It's a P, it's passive, meaning it's a good route. The route is in place and it's fine. If it's an A or an active, that means that EIGRP is actively searching for a new route, and Dual is computing. So we've got here the 10.1.1.0 network is a successor route, and it has a feasible distance is, and it tells you the feasible distance right here, and it tells you here connected via this address. When you have these two numbers here, inside of parentheses, the first number is the feasible distance and the second number is the reported distance. So my guess is, like on this one, we've got a feasible distance number. That's my distance to this network, EIGRP distance. And then the 0 means that reported distance is 0, meaning I probably learned about this route on a connected interface since there's no reported distance. So it's probably a connected route. Down here at the bottom, I've put in some configuration commands if you wanted to set up maybe unequal cost load balancing and how you would set that up. Well, I hope this was helpful, and in the next video I'm going to show a little bit more about looking at EIGRP using Packet Tracer.